welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell from the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Thank you for joining us, and I want to thank Chris and everyone here at TV47 for all they do to help us put on our program. Well, it's back to school time. I'm sure everybody knows that. So joining me today is Dana Bailey. She is the ARI Reading Specialist at B.B. Comer. So I know you've had a busy summer. Most people think if you teach school, you're off all summer, but that's not true, I know. No. But thank you for coming in to join me today.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Well, Dana, tell us about yourself a little bit.
I have my husband Lee and then 3 children, Catherine, John Davis, and Sarah. They're 13, 11, and 8, so they keep us pretty busy at home.
They do.
And then this will be my 19th year in education. I spent 1 year teaching 5th grade, 1 year teaching 1st grade, and then 7 years teaching kindergarten before I moved into an instructional coach role, and then later moved into the reading specialist role. So this will be my 10th year at B.B. Comer this year. Good. And I really just love being a reading specialist and helping our students to become proficient readers.
Wow. That's a job right there, I know.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what does a reading specialist do exactly?
So a reading specialist is kind of in charge of the literacy initiative within the schools. We assess students 3 times a year using benchmarks set forth by the Alabama State Department of Education. And then we take those results and we work with teachers and our principals to develop plans for our schools. So we analyze that data, we look at where our students are, we look at our target and where we need our students to be, and then we kind of connect the dots on how we're going to get there. Right. Part of our job also involves coaching cycles with teachers. That's where the majority of our time is spent. We get to go into teachers' classrooms personally and really take a deep dive into their students and where they are and look at their curriculum and how we can match that curriculum to the needs of the students. So I get to co-teach lessons with teachers within their classrooms and get to work with students like that.
So you work with students and teachers and everyone?
Yes, I get to work with students and teachers. I work closely with our administration. I have great administrators at B.B. Comer, and then also with parents. I get to work with parents through some of the parent involvement activities we do and conferences.
Wow, you have a busy job.
Just a bit.
Very busy. Well, I know we hear a lot about literacy. What is that? I mean, I think I know what it means, but what is literacy?
To be literate means you can read at a level where you can function, in everyday life, and then you can also write at a level that allows you to function in everyday life. Okay. When we look at instructions, whether it be, to assemble something or to read a recipe, those things are written to read a newspaper article, usually on a 6th to 8th grade reading level. So to be literate, you've got to be able to read and comprehend and make sense of all of those different components. So we are working towards that literacy with everything we do at school.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of work. I know. Did you have to have some more training or some more classes or things to learn to be a specialist, reading specialist?
So the way that the job description is laid out by ARI, you must have a bachelor's degree, and then you also must have additional training in reading or, a master's degree, some additional training. I have completed letters. I was in the first cohort of letters, and that's something kind of widely known by educators. So I completed that several years ago, and then I've recently, within the past 2 years, gone through CALT training to be an academic language therapist. That's not something that is required of reading specialists, but it really did help me deepen my content knowledge, especially on working with students that have shown that they have dyslexic tendencies. So that is a training that has really benefited me in my role as a reading specialist.
And your students and your teachers.
Absolutely, I'm sure. Yes, because I can just carry that over into their classrooms.
Wow, what grades do you work with?
set forth by the Alabama Reading Initiative.
Yes.
We are supposed to work with grades kindergarten through third. I do work with our 4th through 6th grade teachers some in data meetings and professional development, but primarily I spend the majority of my time in kindergarten through third.
Okay, yes.
So.
And I know some of that is because kindergarten through third, I guess, is when, first and foremost, that's when you're learning to read, right?
Absolutely.
Those basic skills. Wow.
So kindergarten through 2nd is when we're really developing those foundational reading skills,
Okay.
and that is the ability to get those words up off the page. You know, if we can't read the words in front of us, then we definitely cannot comprehend them.
Right.
So in kindergarten through 2nd, we put a tremendous amount of effort into getting the students to the point where they can decode those words fluently, accurately, so that they can free up their brain space to comprehend and think about what they're reading.
Well, I mean, I kind of know what some of those words mean, but when you say decode, what does that mean? Just actually saying the word?
Yes, so when we say decode, that means to actually break apart the word and be able to read it. Initially, when students start decoding, they might be like,
Yes.
cat, but you know, we want them to get to the point where their brain automatically can read cat without having to put forth effort.
Just little steps there.
It is definitely a building process. We start with the simplest concept and then work to the more complex, so that by 3rd grade, we're working on those multisyllabic words, or words that have more than one syllable.
Right.
And instead of you know, reading each sound within that word, we're chunking those parts so that it makes it easier for them to get those words off the page.
That's how you do everything. Break it apart, little pieces, and learn little pieces. That's great. That's
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Now we talk about fluency. What is fluency?
So when we say that a student is fluent, that means they can read with what we call prosody. And in the education world, that means that they can read and it sounds like they're having a conversation.
Right.
You know, we've heard those students do what we call robot reading, where it might be, I am at school, but it's really hard to make meaning when you're reading like that. So a fluent reader is able to chunk those words together within the sentence to help them make meaning as they're reading.
Right. They read like they talk.
Absolutely.
With a little inflection and things like that.
Yes,
wow.
ma'am.
That's hard to get there, but it's doable.
It is doable.
That is
definitely
great.
doable.
I'll tell you, Dana, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Dana Bailey.
Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Coosa Valley Medical Center, one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama, is also Sylacauga's largest employer. Services from the emergency room to surgery to cancer treatment to post-stroke care. You won't believe what's right in your backyard. It's Coosa Valley Medical Center in Sylacauga. So, if you're sick in Alabama, choose one of the top 10 hospitals in Alabama. That is Coosa Valley Medical Center.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Dana Bailey. She is the ARI Reading Specialist at B.B. Comer Elementary. And I know you're busy getting ready for back to school.
Yes.
One thing I've heard a lot about in the news is the Alabama Literacy Act. Can you explain that? I mean, in the time we have a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's see the elevator version of the Literacy Act. The Literacy Act is a law that the legislature of Alabama passed saying that all students must be proficient in reading by the end of 3rd grade in order to move on to 4th grade. It was initially supposed to go into effect in the year 2020-2021, but they did delay it because of COVID, and so the students that are entering 3rd grade this year will be the first ones that are truly held accountable for that. So by the end of the year, if they have not met the cut score on the ACAP, which is our Alabama Comprehensive Assessment Plan, the tests that our students take in the spring, if they do not meet that minimum cut score, then they will not be promoted to 4th grade without meeting a good cause exemption.
All right. Now I know with that, it's not just like, well, here we're going to give the test, and a lot of work has gone into getting those students ready, getting the teachers prepared to teach them, not for the test, but to be literate. I know.
Absolutely. So, you know, we know that students don't just become proficient readers in 1 year. So with the Literacy Act, it has been backed up all the way to kindergarten. So any student in kindergarten, from kindergarten all the way to 3rd, any student that has any deficiency in any area of reading is created what we call an SRIP, and that's a Student Reading Improvement Plan. And this plan is created with the parent, the teacher, usually the reading specialist is involved, and then an administrator from the school. And so all of these people sit down together and they look at the student need, and they look at what the student's going to have in order to meet that proficiency goal by 3rd grade. With that, we offer after-school tutoring, so students are given the option to stay after school. We also have summer school that we run, so any student that has an SRIP is invited to attend summer school.
Is there any charge for any of that?
No, ma'am. Those things are free of charge. For summer school, we give them breakfast, lunch, and a snack. Students that stay after school, you know, are there until, last year it was 5. This year for BB Comer Elementary, it's going to be 4:30. We just had so many involved in after-school activities that we thought that would be better for them. But it really gives them a chance to get the extra help that they need so that we can work them towards that goal of proficiency.
Wow, well, a lot of work goes into that. And I know you've worked with their classroom teacher, different strategies.
Yes, ma'am. So also all of our teachers in Alabama that are kindergarten through 3rd grade are going through that letters training that I mentioned earlier. And that is a science of reading training. So teachers are going back to, lots of teachers when they went through learned whole language kind of reading, which was students learning to read the whole word rather than break it apart. Science of reading, which is tons of brain research by neurologists and then reading researchers have come together, has shown us that the most effective way for students to learn to read is phonics. And so teachers have really gone back through those trainings to deepen their knowledge so that they can best address their students. Also in Talladega County, we just purchased a new program called Brain Spring, which is a multi-sensory program, which means it involves all the senses, you know, hearing, seeing, touching, because that activates students' brains in more areas, which helps them retain the information. So our teachers, BB Comer Elementary teachers, just this last week went through 2 days of Brain Spring phonics training, and then we have another day this week, and then we'll follow up with 2 more days during the school year, so that they, you know, are just continuing to grow their knowledge in ways to teach students.
How about parents? How are they? I know they're involved in the process. What are parents doing?
So as we have those SRIP meetings, when we bring the parents in, we usually send them home with a packet of materials. And so, you know, if your child is working on letter naming, these are some things you can do. If your child has started to read but they're not fluent, you know, these are some ideas of ways you can build fluency at home. So it's really customized depending on the child, and our teachers are very good at that. You know, we kind of have ideas of what we're going to do if they need fluency, if they need comprehension, if they need phonics. We have different activities that we send home, but we teach the parents how to do those and then ask that they do those things at home and read with their children.
That's great. Well, I have to put in a plug for us here at the library. We had our summer reading club, and I know you were in several times. We had more children meet their goal this summer than ever, over like 162. So I'm just excited. Anybody asks me about it, I want to say, just sit down, let me tell you about it. But, and y'all have encouraged kids to do that so much, to come in and read. So please come in and get some more books and keep reading.
And we are very thankful. We were, honored to be able to, you called me and said, hey, I have these decodable books if you want to come get them. And yes, ma'am, you also helped us with our theme this summer. So we really value our partnership with you guys, and we're encouraging our students to, yes, come over here, be involved in the summer program and those great programs that y'all do on Monday and Wednesday mornings.
Well, thank you. It's all about getting them to read and helping them be better readers. Now, what about those children? I know everyone doesn't learn by phonics. Most people do, and I do understand you have to target the big group. But those children who do not learn that way, there are things for them also, strategies for them.
There are. Really, I would say that number is very small. What we found is even if they do not require phonics to learn to read, it does not hurt them.
Sure.
It improves their spelling and things like that. But we do, of course, target comprehension for those students that have learned to read easily. And so we have a great Open Court is our Tier 1 program, and it really dives deep into comprehension. It has different units that the students go through, and they're coordinated like kindergarten through 6th grade. So if kindergarten's studying weather, then 5th grade's also got something kind of within that same idea, but based on the needs of the students in that grade level. So it's all developmentally appropriate.
That's great. I tell you, so much research and so much work behind all of this.
There is a tremendous amount of research, which I'm very thankful for. We know that 95% of students can learn to read. It's just a matter of us finding what they need. And so I'm thankful that we have the research now to back up kind of some of the ideas we knew, and to show us things that we might not have known 19 years ago when I first started.
Well, things have changed. Or I don't know if things have changed. We've learned more.
We've learned more.
Yeah, right. Well, now I have to ask, what about the children who still at the end of 3rd grade are not able to read as well as they should be, or reach those benchmark goals? So
we do have something called good cause exemptions, and those are on a case-by-case basis.
Sure.
Students are, sometimes I hear people say, oh, they're just not a good test taker. Well, we have something in place called portfolios, and there are essential standards that the state of Alabama has put out. Students must show us 3 different times that they can master that standard with like a score of 70. So. Sure. It might be a multisyllabic list that the students are reading, or a passage that contains those multisyllabic words. And if on 3 different occasions they can show us that they have mastered that, then they would get a check for that on their portfolio. So a portfolio is one way that students who may not make that cut score for ACAP can move on. Another way is students that might have an IEP or an individualized education plan, as long as they have been receiving that intense intervention for 2 years, they might be promoted. Right. Another way is if a student has already been retained and then they have received that intense intervention for 2 years, they might continue on. 3rd grade's not ideal to be the time to hold back, because students are getting older. So usually in kindergarten and 1st grade, we can tell those students that are going to need a little extra time. And that's really where we prefer to hold back, because that's really setting the stage and building that strong foundation before they reach that point. So if they've been held back previously, and then they have received that intense intervention, and the parents will know because of their SRIP, then that would be another good cause exemption, which would give them a pathway to promotion.
Right. Well, there's a good plan in place.
There is. And for those students, if they move to 4th grade with a good cause exemption, they're going to continue to receive intense intervention. We're not just hanging them out to dry.
Right. Oh, no. That's true. That's true. Well, that's great. Well, we're going to pause for another commercial break, and I'll be right back and talk some more with Dana.
There's a lot in life to smile about. Are loose dentures or missing teeth keeping you from enjoying the things you love? Don't miss out on enjoying life's precious moments. You can be you again with affordable mini dental implants. You can smile again, laugh out loud, and have your self-confidence back. Let us help you make it memorable.
I'm Dr. Rick Redmond. Call me today for a free consultation and give me the opportunity to change your life.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Dana Bailey. She's the ARI Reading Specialist at B.B. Comer School. We've been talking about literacy and reading and all of that. Now tell me about your summer school. And we've got some slides we want to show too. We'll talk about summer school and different things like that.
So this summer, that picture right there is a group of students that met their 25-point AR goal last year. So they got to pick out a book from my prize box. So that's just some of the students that met that goal, not all of them, but those are the ones for that month that had reached 25 points. Good. This group of students had reached 50 points, so they got to have a sweet treat party with me in my room. So we had cookies and hung out and got to talk about reading and what books they were interested in, and they got book recommendations from one another. So the sweet treat parties are always fun. These students, the taller students for the most part, met a 100-point reading goal on AR last year, and then the smaller ones, our first grade students, met a 50-point reading goal last year. So those students read books and then took tests on them. And they had to keep an accuracy average of 85% because, you know, it's not just reading and testing and not worrying about what you've comprehended. You've got to be able to comprehend what you're reading. That is a picture showing small group in one of our kindergarten classes. Small group is a huge part of our success at B.B. Comer. We've really started moving students and getting them where they need to be, and that's the reason why. This is a whole group picture of a second grade class, and that is with that Tier 1 open court program I was talking about. So those students were reading their story that day with their teacher, Ms. Jackson. This is one of my favorite pictures that I sent in. These are 3 students that were in second grade last year in Ms. Deborah Armstrong's class. And they are all advanced learners. They are precious little boys. But the little boy in the middle, Hunter, began this story, the story of the Easter Bunny, and then his friends Damien and,
I know if you're like names escaping.
So he's a twin. He's got a twin, Michael, but that's Noah. So I was having to decide which one it was. But yes, they wrote that story and they illustrated it using Google Slides. And they were so excited to come share it with me. And then we let them share it with other classes in the school. But it was a cute little story. They had an eggocopter in it. So the Easter Bunny's eggocopter had an issue, but they were able to find him. So it was a cute little story. These are some of our students at summer school this summer. To encourage attendance, students that came got a ticket each day, and then once you had 5 tickets, you got to put your name in to have a chance to win a prize. So they were excited to share their prizes. You can see our map in the background of that picture. Our theme for this summer was "This Land is Our Land." Travel is something that I'm very passionate about. I just feel like, you know, there's so much out there to see, and my family loves to travel. And I've noticed that a lot of our students don't necessarily have those experiences, and so we really wanted to bring that in this summer. So on that map you can see the little tags, and those are all the different locations that the students visited this summer through Read Aloud. So they read about the Statue of Liberty and the mighty Mississippi River, and they discovered Yellowstone. They learned about the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but they learned so much about our country, and they loved it and owned it. So it was a great experience. Those are our summer school teachers, and they are amazing. I would like to say that our kindergarten through 2nd grade, we use something called M-Class, and that is a foundational skills assessment. So we use M-Class to measure progress, and the students that came to us for summer school were there for 4 weeks, and we use national percentile rankings to measure where they are. So that is, if you looked at all the students their age, how many out of 100 would they do better than? And our kindergarten through 2nd grade, all 3 saw over a 13-point gain within 4 weeks. And then our 3rd grade had a 9-point gain, which in 3rd grade is difficult because that's really where that rate is picking up, which is the number of words they read in a minute. So 9 points was huge.
That's great. You guys did a lot of work.
We did do a lot of work. This is a picture of our literacy night that we held in February. It's We Love Literacy. This was kind of fun because the kiddos got to hang out in the gym with our PE coaches, and the parents got to go learn, and then the parents had a chance to practice what they learned. So that was a great night also. This is our trunk or treat. This past year was our 2nd year to have trunk or treat, and our teachers really outdid themselves. It's book themed, so each grade level or teacher, and then you can see our school bus drivers at the bottom because we have the best school bus drivers. And I will go to bat with anybody on that. Coleridge got the best. But they come up with a book. So they, of course, did Magic School Bus. We have Pete the Cat, Peter Pan, Harry Potter, Charlotte's Web. So it's a great night. The kids really come out, and parents, so kids get the treats and parents get tricks to help with literacy. So we give out little informational things on things they can do at home.
That is a great idea. Your staff, your faculty there is awesome.
We are truly blessed. I hear so many schools talk about their turnover rate and talk about how they have all these teachers that are coming in that are not certified, but they're just having to, find anybody to teach. And we are very blessed because that's not what we have at Comer. We have a great veteran staff. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
I have 3 children, and I have been extremely happy as mama and reading coach with every teacher that we've had there.
Wow. Well, that is wonderful, and we are almost out of time. I feel like we could talk another hour, but Dana, thank you so much for telling us about what's going on at your school and about reading in general. I appreciate you coming in.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all of your support.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for joining us on Library Connection.